Welcome into this week's edition of Lauren's Lane. It's a special edition. We'll get to that in just a second. But first, as always, I want to thank our friends at Dome Hats. If you need hats for your company or your team, visit domehats.com. They're the best in the business. Or go see their showroom in Jax Beach, and they will help you with custom hats. I said it's a special edition, and that's right. For many of you 1010XL listeners, you recognize this face. It's Amanda Borges Devore. She was Amanda Borges here at 1010XL, and we certainly miss her, but we're so excited to have her back, at least for today. Amanda, thanks so much for joining me.
I'm back. How crazy is that?
You're back for a little bit. Let's take people through your journey. So you originally are from Tampa, and then you got hired by 1010XL in 2015?
It might have been 2014.
2014, okay. So then take us through what happened since then.
Oh boy, how much time do we have?
About 10 minutes.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I was hired by 1010 in 2014 to be the Jaguars reporter. And for the Jags fans that are paying attention, that was when Blake Bortles was the quarterback, which sounds like eons and eons ago. And so I was part of the afternoon drive show with Frank and the gang, which was so much fun. We had a blast together doing that. And then I spent a lot of time at the stadium reporting on the Jags and attending games and practices, and I had a blast.
Who was your favorite, sorry to interrupt you, Amanda, who was your favorite Jaguars player to interview back then?
Wow. Okay, let's see. Who was there in 2014, in 2015?
Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson was there. Toby Gerhart was around for a while. He was always really fun to talk to. AJ Cann, is he still here?
Okay, he's Tyler Shatley's still here. Yep, Brendan Linder's still here.
Wow, there's still
just really the offensive line, that's about it.
Mercedes Lewis was always someone that would talk to the media. I know that he's in Green Bay now. I don't know. I mean, there was a rotation. Obviously, some people would come and go, but there was a good group. I don't know that they were like good in terms of winning.
We've only had that here for 1 year.
Yes, which was the year after I left, by the way.
Yes, which that's when I got to take over your position at 1010XL, and that certainly has been a lot of fun, and it's the position that I still have, other than now Hayes Carline covers the Jaguars for 1010. When it comes to going in the locker room, for me, you had to prepare me. Yeah. I had never been in a locker room like that. When it came to going into the locker room for you, what was that like?
You definitely have to prepare yourself because, first of all, you're going into their territory, right? And they have just come off the practice field or off the game, and they are undressing and they're decompressing, and they're either happy because they won or had good practice, or they're obviously upset. So I think just knowing that like you're in someone else's house and you're a guest and you like need to be polite, but aside from that, just being prepared for like, again, they're in their own space and you have to just watch where you're stepping and
keep your eyes
up constantly. And I actually remember when I first got the job, my dad asked me, oh, so do they only let you in after they've like showered and gotten dressed? And I was like, Dad, I wish. I honestly would prefer that. But no, and you get used to it quickly because you're there to do a job too. And you know, everyone was, at least I had a decent experience. I've heard some horror stories from other teams, but everyone was polite and nice.
So you left Jacksonville in 2016 because you got a job with the New York Rangers.
Mm-hmm. I left Florida to work in the coldest sport known to man. At least I think that's the coldest one, and that is hockey. I had a blast. I was working for the Rangers I was there for 2 years, and I traveled with the team. So I was all over the US, Canada, every game, all 82 games, home and away. And I got to learn about the sport because I didn't know a ton about the sport when I got the job, which was a big risk for me because I loved it here. Football was my main love, and I left that for hockey. So that was interesting, but such an amazing learning experience. There are so many awesome memories, and the cold is something that I'll never forget.
Which helped prepare you for the fact that you now live in Connecticut. But I want to go back to hockey for a second. You got to interview Wayne Gretzky. Mm-hmm. What was that like? Were you nervous? Did you realize the person that you were interviewing is the greatest to ever play the sport?
Yes, and I was nervous, but not as much as you'd think because, and I think this actually benefited me, I didn't find out about the interview until like 20 minutes beforehand, which had I had days and days to prepare, I think I would have like really gotten in my head and would have been super nervous, but I had 20 minutes where they're like, hey, I got a text that said, we're gonna get Wayne in the second intermission. And I was like, Wayne, like Wayne Gretzky, like just Wayne? And so I had 20 minutes to come up with like super quick questions. And you know, he's been around a long time, so me, this little pipsqueak blonde interviewing him, like he probably didn't even care, right? But that was one of my first interviews. It wasn't my first, but I had only done a handful ahead of that in the hockey world. So that was a career moment for sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, this is Jeff Whitaker with Dome Hats. Do you need custom hats for your team or your business? Or you just want to see what we've got for sale in your favorite Florida State or Florida gear? Come on down to the bar here in Jacks Beach. We'll be waiting for you.
Well, then your career took you, so we went from Florida to New York, then to California.
Yeah. So I got a job with Yahoo Sports, covering basically everything with a focus on college football, which is my other passion aside from the NFL, a little bit of basketball and some hockey sprinkled in. And that was more studio work. I got to travel a little bit, but it was more studio. I hosted their fantasy football show on Sundays. And it was fun. I had a really great time. I've been so lucky to have worked with awesome people in this business. I feel like when you get new opportunities like that, you have no idea what you're getting into, which that goes to say for any industry that you're in. And I loved working there. The people were awesome. And that was kind of short-lived, but it was a learning experience and I had fun. It was great.
And certainly that's the fun part, I think, about your career is you've been able to say yes to a lot of different things that some people might have turned down because it may be scary or it's in a new city or they don't have experience in that sport. There's so many things I look back and think, oh, well, if only I'd been willing to take that chance. And even things here at 1010XL, an idea may be presented and I get scared and nervous to begin with. But then I think of you, Amanda, and how you have chased your dream all over the country. So we went from California, but now you're back in Connecticut and you work for Overland Expo. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah.
And congratulations on getting married somewhere in that whole time frame as well.
A lot has happened. I always joke that that's how I do things. Like things just like happen and then it keeps happening and I guess I just go with the flow. So yeah, I was in California for almost 3 years. My husband and I got our amazing dog there who we love so much. Hi, Remy. And we got married there and then we moved across the country to Connecticut where he's from. And I am now out of the sports industry completely. Maybe not forever, but for now, I'm working for Overland Expo. As you said, I do marketing and social for them. And it's a cool industry. It's the outdoor travel adventure industry and the community of people that we serve is just incredible. They are inspiring world travelers and they come together at our events to get educated and get together with people in their community. And I've learned a lot and I will continue to learn a lot. And I miss sports, but it's still a really neat industry to be a part of.
And you get to follow sports from afar.
Yes.
Sometimes being just a fan can be a lot of fun. When you cover a team, it can be something that's not nearly as much fun, especially when we talk about teams that lose. Like we started this whole interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's a whole different subject. But I think the Overland Expo stuff is so cool, obviously following you on Instagram and seeing the different things. And I grew up where we camped a bunch and we would mountain bike, and I've tried lots of different things like, mountain climbing, everything like that. And it's just so cool to see that group of people because I think they're so free, right? And they are always in a good mood. That's what I love.
Yeah. It's been really inspiring for me because I've always enjoyed traveling. I've always enjoyed outdoor adventures, but this community of overlanders, they take it to another level. Overlanding is vehicle-based travel and you use your vehicle for everything, for sleeping, eating, obviously getting to your next destination. A lot of people camp in their car as well, whether you have a rooftop tent or some sort of something built inside. And there's always more that you can do to your vehicle to, make it more equipped for off-roading. and going really wherever you want. But I mean, these people are just incredibly inspiring, and it definitely makes you think if you could just live out of your van full time and not have a mortgage and just be free and go wherever you want. And it's very tempting. Despite the fact that we just bought our own house. But it's so interesting, going back to your point of being a fan, like that first year that I was out of sports, I was out of work for a while because of COVID. And I was saying to my husband, I'm like, I've never just like watched a game on TV and not like taking notes on the side or like really paying attention to like who's doing what, like just to watch and then like walk away to the kitchen for a minute and come back and like, I don't know, it's such a different experience. And maybe I'll go back to covering sports one day, but it's kind of nice being a fan right now.
It is, and in Lawrence Lane a few weeks ago, I talked to Lonnie Pryor, who obviously also went to Florida State like you did, and he was like, you know, playing college football, that's awesome, but tailgating is where it's at. You don't realize what you're missing out. So certainly he had a great experience playing, and he's now having fun tailgating, because like you said, it's fun being a fan. All right, well, that is Amanda Borges Devore. Thank you everyone for tuning in to this week's edition of Lawrence Lane, and come back next week. We'll have a lot more for you. And remember, as always, it's presented by Dome Hats. Visit domehats.com for hats for your company or your team.